The House of Representatives at the plenary on Tuesday adopted a petition by African Center for Justice and Human Rights (ACJHR) seeking probe and investigation of alleged contempt and abuse of Nigeria judicial sovereignty by officers of British government and their investigative agencies, National Crime Agency (NCA), Crown Prosecution Service (CPS), and one investigator and prosecutor called Sarah Mello, who is acting in contempt and working hard to undermine Nigeria judicial sovereignty and disrespect of judgments of Nigerian courts, which cleared Africa's successful businessman and ITO boss Benedict Peters of any wrongdoings. The above-named foreign agencies reportedly disregarded the Nigeria's court ruling and have been maliciously trying to undermine court judgments, which have vindicated African businessman Benedict Peters and quashed all fabricated allegations with over 10 High Court judgments, clearing him of all wrongdoings, including in cases that the British authorities were parties to in Nigeria, for which they are at appeal in just one but still carrying out actions to defame, distract and undermine Benedict Peters, with the mention of his name in UK proceedings on matters competent courts have affirmed his innocence, cleared him and barred the UK authorities from dragging his name into such decided issues. Laying the petition on behalf of the civil society organization, the Right Honorable Aliyu Mustafa, who represents the good people of Kubo Ikara Federal Constituency of Kaduna State, said the group seeks that a thorough legislative investigation be conducted into the continued undermining and defaming of the name of Nigerian businessman Mr. Benedict Peters and ensure that the British government ends the undermining of Nigeria's judicial sovereignty and judgments of competent courts in Nigeria.
Crown Prosecution Service as one Sarah Mello over the witch hunt of a Nigerian businessman, Benedict Peters, with fabricated allegations for which over 10 High Court judgments have cleared him of all wrongdoing, and a call opened the Nigerian Parliament to stop the prosecution and abuse of the sanctity of our judicial pronouncement and rights of our citizens. Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, I would like to lay this petition.
The group also prayed that the investigation should lead to a stoppage in the abuse of our judicial sovereignty, which can be seen in the disdain with which judgments from our courts are treated, especially the over 10 High Court judgments which have declared Benedict Peters of any criminal wrongdoings, quashed a witness statement and investigative reports from NCA, CPS, Stacey Boniface, including the issues being reintroduced by one Sarah Mello, who knows very well that all the issues for which Benedict Peters' name is being bandied about have all been resolved by competent courts and court proceedings that the NCA, CPS, etc. were parties and actively participated. He stressed that the petition is a call for Nigerian Parliament to stop the unwarranted attacks and abuse of the sanctity of our judicial pronouncements and rights of our citizens. The petition read in part, sometime in 2015, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) commenced an investigation into certain activities of Mr. Benedict Peters, CEO of ITO Energy Resources, owners and operators of the OML 29 and the Nembe Creek trunk line. Obviously not finding any infractions, some persons within the EFCC allegedly hatched a plan with some of their collaborators in the National Crime Agency and Crown Prosecution Service in the UK to harass and intimidate and eventually steal some properties belonging to Mr. Benedict Peters and his companies. These properties include houses in the United Kingdom. It looks as if the Nigerian group would take some, while the British collaborators would take over the OML 29, which ITO legitimately acquired from Shell Petroleum Development Company. The EFCC started by declaring Mr. Peters wanted. This action has been declared as illegal by the court and unlawful by the court, as it amounted to a gross violation of the rights of Mr. Peters, especially his constitutionally guaranteed right of fair hearing, as espoused in the Latin maxim Audi Alteram Partem, which means hear the other side, from 2016 till date. At least 10 courts before which Mr. Peters has appeared have all vindicated him and cleared him of all charges and allegations of infractions, malfeasance or indeed any crime. Instructively, the FCT High Court in the case Benedict Peters and 3 others versus Attorney General of the Federation and 6 others suit number FCT/HC/CV/0536/2017 found the defendants, which included EFCC, NCA, CPS and their officials, liable in carousel fraud for suppressing and misrepresenting facts about the properties of Mr. Peters with a view to taking them over. The court thereafter awarded damages of 200 million naira in favor of Mr. Peters and his companies. This decision, which was given by the court 6 years ago, has not been appealed against by anyone. It is quite disheartening that despite the numerous judgments of the court, the British agencies and their officials, particularly one Mrs. Sarah Mello, have continued to disregard the judgments and treat same with disdain. The FCT High Court has also granted an order for these numerous judgments to be served, registered and enforced in several countries including the United Kingdom.